Hello, I'm Todd Stubendek, State Director of AARP Nebraska. Thank you for joining us for this special Facebook Live event. AARP has been working to promote the health and well-being of older Americans for more than 60 years through information, advocacy, and resources. Part of that includes helping to improve the places that we live so people can thrive no matter their age, ability, or background. We know we all want to live in places where there are transportation options. Housing is affordable and works for our needs as we age. There's access to the outdoors and public spaces, and there are ways to stay connected with loved ones and neighbors. Ultimately, our vision is a future in which communities, urban, suburban, and rural, are great places for all. We've seen that this is even more important as we face the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. AARP is doing this work, including right here in Nebraska. Today, I'm pleased to share some exciting news, as 4 Nebraska organizations are receiving grants through applications to the AARP Community Challenge Grant Program. These are a part of a total of $3.2 million being awarded among 244 grantees across the country. Today, we are joined by one of the Nebraska grantees who's going to share more about their project. Manny Cook joins us from Spark. Welcome, Manny, and thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Great, perfect. Let's go ahead and get started. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Spark and your work?
Yeah, I think it's best to start with like me a little bit, my background, and then some of the projects, and then go into Spark, because Spark we do a whole lot at Spark. So yeah, like you said, my name is Manny. I'm the urban development manager for Spark, and my background is in urban planning, and I'm from North Omaha, and do a lot of my work in North Omaha. Uh, and so a few of the projects I'm working on is North Omaha Trail. Of course, this project, which I've labeled kind of the Common Ground project. But then we also are rehabbing some buildings right on 24th Street and bringing in new businesses and putting a little bit of housing up on the second floor of one of them. So that's what I'm doing right now at Spark. We also at Spark, we have a loan fund. So to help with developers if they need like a gap financing. And then we have our Developers Academy, which is a way to learn how to become a developer. So we really target like communities and populations who aren't usually seen as developers. And that we're going into our 3rd Developer Academy right now. So those are some of the things. There's lots of little things that we do every day, and the minutia of daily work and things like that. But that's pretty much an outline of me and Spark and some of the things that we're doing.
Great. So does Spark work exclusively in Omaha, or are there other areas of the state that Spark works in?
Well, that's right now exclusively in Omaha, but with the work we've been doing, we've gotten some interest in other parts of the state and then also in some other states. So, but we're pretty young. I guess coming up here in October will be our official 5-year anniversary. But the first 2 years we're kind of just like putting the paperwork together and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. You're having a big impact for being such a young organization. So, the AARP Community Challenge Grant that we're talking about today is for $20,000 and involves converting an unused space into an interactive, vibrant public space, which is one of the most fun projects, I think, within the Community Challenge Grant program, those sort of things. Tell us more about the project and your plans.
Thanks. Yeah, so I appreciate you saying it's one of the most interesting ones. I mean, we're kind of really shooting for that, and it's a real opportunity, especially just starting with the location. It's right on one of the trailheads for the North Omaha Trail project, which is on 24th in Ohio, is where the general area is. And back behind a few buildings, it's just a parking lot, the blank faces of, a back of buildings. And we really want to anchor that space as kind of, like you said, an interactive space that's right at the end of the trail where you can go there at the beginning, end, and that sort of thing. And really what it's going to do is it's going to be anchored by a seed archive. So that's going to be a public space project that has way it's designed is going to have seating as part of the project, but it'll also be where we hold the seeds for plantings along the trail, community gardens, and then there'll be the infrastructure that we use to host some oral histories from the community. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. We're also going to, like I was mentioning, kind of those buildings surrounding the seed archive. We're working on a couple mural projects right now, and the idea is to make it kind of a what was it, like a outdoor mural gallery, if you will. So yeah.
That's great. So this isn't directly related, although it's tangential to the North Omaha Trail project. Could you tell me a little bit more about that project?
Yeah, for
Because it's
sure.
exciting what's happening in North Omaha with the trail.
Thanks. Yeah. So with that project, it's going to be just under 2 mile trail that basically connects 24th and Lake to 30th and Ames. And, walking, biking, scooting, rollerblading, whatever you get around on, or whatever they invent next, I guess, is what it's for. But a big part of the trail is it's just really transformed into a cultural trail as we've gone through community engagement on that project. So we just finished a mural on Bud Crawford's gym on the north end of the trail. There's one existing mural on the south end by Reggie LaFleur, and we're working on other murals in that area as part of this project. And then later on, we plan to do murals and public art just all the way along the trail. So, and that's just it's not even a block; it's like a half block from where we're doing this project.
So back to this project, how
Mhm.
do you think this project will benefit people 50 plus and the community as a whole?
Yeah, so I think really the outdoor seating, space to gather outdoors, places to interact with each other, those things. But then the oral histories, I think, as that comes along, is a real big key component of it. There's so much in the community that is only oral history, right? It's not written in a book. There's North Omaha is full of like poets and artists and so on and so forth. So just to have a place where some of that is stored for the future, I think is going to be a big deal. And I think, people over 50, at least a lot of people over 50 I talk to, they like to tell lots of stories. So I think that there's a benefit of getting those stories out, but then not just getting them out, saving them. But also most people like green spaces and flowers and fruits and vegetables and all those sorts of things. So the Seed Archive, I think, will be a resource to everyone 50 and over and under, just have more access to healthy food and place where you can get seeds to grow some flowers and help with the beautification of the area.
Speaking on behalf of the over 50, we don't just like telling stories. We're giving wisdom, Manny.
That exactly, and that was actually a word I was thinking of the other day as I was thinking about this project. Is like I was thinking of the poems and the history, but the wisdom. That's a good word because it's a little bit more than just information. It's through lived experience, right?
Yep, absolutely. So, one of the things I love about the Community Challenge Grant Program is that they're designed to be fast acting. They're awarded, and we want the project to be done completely and moving forward. So, given that, sort of, what's your time frame for having the project completed and in the community? And are you planning something to celebrate the project being done?
Yeah, so right now we have all the materials like priced and everything, and I'm just working with some of our community partners like Habitat to order the materials and get them delivered to site. And once that happens, we'll build it. I have quite a few community volunteers, people just from the community, from the neighborhood, who wanted to be a part of this project. So we'll build it, have a good time doing that. But the idea is that once it's constructed here, late October, to have some sort of event around that. Maybe something at night, even with projectors. So we'll see how it comes together as far as the event, because there's a lot of ideas and just how do we distill that into one day.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. We talked about this a little bit, but maybe you go a little bit more into sort of what benefits do you see for the community as a whole that are coming from this project?
Yeah, I think it's really just having that common ground where people can come together, share experiences. With COVID and things like that, having an outdoor space is really important. And there's honestly, there are some around, but there's nothing that's intentional where like you'll just go there and hang out type of thing. So I think that will be a real benefit to the whole community, on top of all the things I mentioned earlier, the seeds and the oral histories and things like that.
You mentioned the murals. Will there be local artists that will be involved in the murals? Have you picked the artist yet?
So,
Curious how you're doing that.
yep. So we had we're picking a few of the artists right now. Actually, on the Seed Archive itself, we'll have some artists as well, and those are definitely local artists. I'm having lunch with them here this afternoon once we get done, just to get some final designs, and then the murals on the walls proper. We're selecting them right now, and there was a mix of local artists, and then there were some like a little bit more regional or people who were local and then moved away. So we're going through that process right now.
Very good. Well, we're getting near to the end of our time here, but wanted to let you give us a final thought on how they can feel. Anything else we should know about Spark, and how people can find out more information about Spark?
Yeah, so that was one where I was like, I should have just dropped my email or the website in the chat or something like that. But one thing to know about Spark is we're just getting started. We got a lot planned going on for the next couple of years, and plan to be really involved in the community, stay involved in the community, I should say. But to learn more about us, sparkcdi.org, and you can look through all of our information, quite a few of our projects that we have going on, and you can find my email there. So,
very good, perfect. Any other final thoughts for our audience today?
Well, nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, Manny, I really am excited about this project. As we in the AARP Nebraska office and with our volunteers look through all the projects that we had, and we had lots of really worthy projects. This one really stood out and was very exciting to us, and we're very grateful to be a partner with Spark and working in the North Omaha community, and are excited to see what happens with the project. So again, thank you, Manny, for joining us. To learn more about this Community Challenge Grant project and others across the country, you can visit AARP's Livable Communities website at www.aarp.org/community-challenge. From there, you can also visit an interactive map that details all of the Community Challenge Grant projects that have been funded since 2017, and learn a little bit more about any communities who are members of the AARP network of age-friendly states and communities. You can also learn more by visiting the AARP Nebraska webpage at states.aarp.org/Nebraska. Once again, thank you to Spark and for Manny for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you.
All right.